Hey guys, so today we are going to talk about time estimation, so let's get into it. Now, this is the trickiest thing in programming, I shit you not. The code and even the most advanced high-level super algorithms in the world are dwarfed in comparison to time estimation. It is so difficult, and it's so, because the problem is when you start a project, you know, even if you know the code like the back of your hand, you don't have the finished code in your head, which means that you most likely are going to make, because that's the way our brains work, you can't foresee all the corner cases, you can't foresee all of the possible reasons why something may go bad. And it's why I urge you to really, really think about what you say when you get that magic question from your product manager or your PO or whoever, your boss basically, when they ask this question. So, how long is this gonna take? Really think about it. Really, really, really think about it. Because what you say next is going to affect everything. And let me tell you why. The other day, we basically had what we call a planning session at my company. You can call it a grooming session, you can call it quarterly meeting or whatever you want to call it. Basically, we were planning out the work that we were going to do over the course of the foreseeable future, basically. And so we were estimating, we were talking about the different stories, the different workloads, that so forth and so forth. And our PO was walking us through basically all the stuff that needs to be shipped within the time frame that we are given, which is usually a month. And so we estimated and said, all right, we think that roughly, after a lot of talking and so forth, we kind of estimated most of the stuff that was on the table. And she asked that magic question, okay, how many of these stories, and for the juniors out there who you may not know this term, a story is a trend word that you use for a workload. So a feature or something, a piece of work that you are going to do. It's commonly referred to as a story. Anywho, she asked, okay, so how many stories do you think you can manage? And so we picked out a few of them. And then she said that wonderful thing, that only truly confident seniors who don't give a toss about what other people think, especially non-technical people, that magic question that only these resistant titans have the ability to withstand. She kind of put her head to the side and said, oh, it would be really great if we could squeeze that story in and this story as well, because those are really important. Do you think that you can manage these two? And the whole room stopped. And most of my colleagues started kind of going, yeah, maybe we could try. You know, they started becoming accommodating immediately. And for the most part, I'm very accommodating too. But unfortunately, I'm not a senior, and I'm not one of those titans, because I get affected by this too. If somebody is really nice to me, I want to accommodate them, but I have fucked up so many times when this happens that the pain is in the back of my head. It won't let me say anything besides what I said next, because when she started to get the room over to her side, I said, well, I would really like to be able to ship these features, but I would say that my feeling in this room is right now that we are a little bit unsure. Like, we are confident that the stuff that we've so far so far agreed on, that's something that we feel a high level of confidence that we will be able to ship. So by asking us to add a little bit more, you are putting yourself in a risk position. And she kind of went, what do you mean by that? And I said, it's very easy. Even if we sit here, we could promise you that we will deliver all of this, every single story on that board. And the more stuff we add on, the less confident we will be until we reach a point where we know that there's absolutely no way we're going to ship this. But we are communicating to you, and you, ergo, are going to go into your boss and communicate that this is, because this is a meeting where we decide what, and basically promise what we're going to build for in this time period. So you can either go into your next meeting with your boss and say, the developers are going to produce this, and feel that you're confident that the promise that you are delivering to your boss is a safe bet. But when you ask us to kind of shim in some stuff that you want to have as well, on top of the stuff that we think that is feasible to deliver, you are putting yourself at risk, because odds are that regardless of what we promise you, that we won't be able to deliver it. So you can either have confidence in the promise that we've made so far and be sure that what you go and tell your boss is going to be delivered, or you can go into that meeting and not be sure. And that's the way it's going to work. Do you want to have a situation where maybe we overestimate a little bit and maybe take a more conservative approach to what we're promising, and maybe we'll actually get done much quicker? Likely that's not likely, statistically that's not so likely to happen, but it can happen, and then we pull in the extra stuff that you want us to do. Or do you want us to be optimistic and be forced to start cutting features, or basically compromise the quality of the delivery, and worst case scenario, actually miss the deadline? These are your options. The work is what the work is. There's nothing we can do to change the workload that is about that we need to do. The time we can't do anything about that. All we can do is set your expectations accurately. So so I ask you, do you want to be sure that what's on the board is going to be produced? Or do you just want to be happy for the moment with a promise that we are not confident that we can deliver on? And after a slight bit of ranting, as you may imagine, from my side, I kind of go into, yeah, that seems absolutely reasonable. And basically, I'm sorry, I am a little bit of a drama queen when it comes to these matters. With good reason, because I've been here so many times. And I tell you right now, guys, it is, just trust me on this, it is so much better to make people disappointed in the planning meeting and hopefully be able to actually pull in, like being pleasantly surprised that you got done quicker than you expected, and to pull in more stuff is better than promising too much too early and being late. Being done early is always a good thing. Being done late is almost always an unacceptable outcome. And you have the power to affect that by resisting when they want you to underestimate how difficult something is. This is a good rule of thumb. Always overestimate how hard the problem is, because you have to assume that you're missing something, because you're always missing something. That's a very good rule. Take it to heart, because trust me, you're going to forget about corner cases. You are going to forget about something when you're planning things. It's only when you are roughly halfway through the project where all these different issues starts piling up and you realize what the most likely real scope of the story that you're delivering on is going to be. Have a great day.